Legendary conversations people want to know. When you're on the way to greatness, what's the way to go? Inspiration for the future, we can make a change. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Legendary conversations people want to know. When you're on the way to greatness, what's the way to go? Inspiration for the future, we can make a change. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Once again, shout out to J Dollar for the track. Appreciate it. People want to know when you're on the way to greatness, what's the way to go? Inspiration for the future, we can make a change. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Kick some knowledge with your partner, you can spit your game. Welcome everybody to another episode of Game Session. Today, I got a CEO, professional life coach, an author, a speaker, founder of the Black Charlotte Business Coalition, has a company called Fresh Start Coaching, LLC, and the Millennium Influencer. I got Mr. Doc Fresh. I got Eddie Love. Love, what's good, man?
Man, I'm good, man. That track was jumping. That was J Dollar. That J Dollar.
Yeah, that's J Dollar, man. He hooked me up, man. So
yes, sir.
So yeah, J Dollar hooked me up, man. How everything been with you, man?
Man, everything been great, man. Just excited to be here and living life, bro. Living life. I'm excited for you, man. I've been watching your podcast and seeing your movement, and I love it. So I said, look, man, reach out, and once you reached out, here we are. So good deal.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you, man. I keep an eye on everything you've been doing too, all the positivity, man, because we need it. So definitely been checking you out and stuff. So we'll get started, man. Just a little tap in for the people that don't know you, for just a little bit of your background. Where you was born? Where you was born?
Well, I was born in Chicago, man, south side of Chicago. So I'm from Woodlawn area. A lot of people don't know that. Even my people from Greenwood, like a lot of folks didn't know I came from Chicago. But I left Chicago, and probably like 89. And then we moved to Georgia. So I was in Decatur on Candler Road until like 93, 92, 93. That's when I moved to Greenwood. So I was in Greenwood from 92 to when I moved to Charlotte.
Okay. You have any kids?
I have one. Oh, but let me say this.
Go ahead.
Greenwood is my home. Anybody ask me what home at, I'm always say the Wood, man. G Wood is, that's who raised me. That's who made me. You know what I mean? So G Wood is my home. That's where my mama at. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
But yeah, I have one daughter. She'll be 12 years old next month.
Okay, cool. Okay. The neighborhood in Greenwood, man. Where did you grow up? The neighborhood, and how was it growing up in Greenwood?
Man, I got so many hoods, man, in Greenwood. Like honestly, people ask me how I know so many people, man, from the wood, and it's because for a short time, at one point I lived in Hayes Homes for a minute, and then I left Greenwood, went back to Georgia. So it was a quick little stint where I lived in Nicktown. So I had a whole bunch of, connects and people over there, me, Santana, Sweet Pea, Skeeter, Jaworski, Little Gus. That's who I ran with when I was in Hayes Home. So then I left, went to Georgia, came back, and I went to Davis Elementary. So when I went to Davis, I was on Strong Avenue. So Strong Avenue, LA, all them boys over there, from Mason Dixon, me, Tard Whitehead, Aaron Glover, Mitra Glover, like all us, CC Brown, like, Sammy Sutton, all us grew up together, man. Like between LA and Strong Avenue, we playing football, fumble, baseball, everything. So that's one of my hoods, Strong Avenue. And then we moved to Gibb Street. So by the time I was in high school, we was in GP. We were right there on Gibb Street, what them houses that they tore down, right there across from the church, cross street from Wesley. So we lived there up until, I graduated from high school, and then I left in 2002. So, man, I got so many hoods, man, in Greenwood. That whole city, my hood.
Yeah, look, you touched bases everywhere.
I did, bro. I swear I did.
Hey, but guess what? It's love everywhere, though, man. That's always love.
That's why. My daughter and my wife think I went to the NBA, man. I come back to the crib.
It was a
Shit, man.
celebrity.
Man, people show love, man. People have always shown love at the crib. For
Right.
real.
Yeah, one thing about the wood, man, they if they mess with you, they mess with you. So you know what I'm saying. They It's always gonna be love for the ones that's still there. You know, everybody kind of moved around and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But for those that still there, yeah. Uh, so you graduated. You graduated from Greenwood High. You went.
now
You went. What college you went to now?
I went to Valley, man. When I left, I had went to Valley for 2 years, and I transferred to UNC Charlotte, in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I went there from what '02 to '06, and then I stayed, man. Like remember that scene on Harlem Nights when dude called? He say, "Hey, it's Richie. Let me speak to your mother. I ain't never
Yeah.
coming home no more. Take it easy." That's how
Yeah.
it was, bro. Like when I came up here to Charlotte, I was coming to work for the summer. I was gonna
Yeah.
come stack up some paper and get an apartment in Terrace View. That was
Okay.
my goal. From the stack up, come back, and but after I got up here, man, that summer, the air was different. You know what I'm saying? It was just I couldn't come back, so I called my mom. I was like, "Look, I'm gonna stay." Transferred everything to UNC Charlotte, and I moved in one of my uncles.
Okay. So the rest is history.
The rest is history, bro. This home, I've been here 22 years now.
Okay. And that's what's up, man. Cause I was gonna ask, why'd you go to UNC, but I see now you end up
Family.
staying, so you was like, yeah, okay. So I
I had
understand it.
family here. And then one thing too, man, like I was one of the people that was on that mentor scholarship. I don't know if you remember, but and they might have stopped that by the time you got up, but they had something called Plan for Social Excellence. And Plan for Social Excellence was a full scholarship to anywhere in the United States. So you could have, I could have went to Princeton, Stanford, Harvard, wherever I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people that was on that mentoring scholarship. And when I say mentoring, we had to mentor a little kid at W.C. Williams, I believe, or one of the schools in our district for 2 years. So you do the mentoring program your junior year, your senior year. And I think we had to keep like a 2.7 GPA, and you can go to any college. Any college in the United States was fully paid for up to 5 years. But I chose to go to Valley because, and
Yeah.
we may get into it later on about why I chose to go to Valley, but
Yeah.
I chose to stay at home for a little minute, and then I dipped after 2 years.
Okay. Now go ahead and say, well, why did you choose to go to Valley first?
Yeah, man. Honestly, man, like my folks was going through so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we had a situation with my parents, even though they stayed together for, over 25 years, it was some domestic violence there. My pops was, he was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Drug abuse, that type of things, and I couldn't really leave with the atmosphere like that. I couldn't go off and
Right.
pursue my stuff. And my sister finna come in the ninth grade, who was right behind me, 4 years behind me. My brother was going into middle school, who's 4 years behind her. So it was like I couldn't leave my family in that type of situation. So it was really just a sacrifice I had to make just to make sure my family was straight. So one of the things that happened is me and my pops got into a little scuffle, a little situation that kind of caused my mom to, make a decision, and they parted ways. And after that situation happened, what I'm saying, that's when I left. That's when I moved out after that. My dad had left and moved to Chicago. And then, and that's when I dipped after that, man. But it was just, what I'm saying, sacrifices.
Right. So if you didn't go to Valley first, where was you gonna go?
You know what, bro? That's a funny question, bro. Nobody ever asked that question. But if I didn't go to Valley, I was going to go to University of Akron, Ohio, because my
Okay.
mentor at the time, well, actually, this was one of my decisions upon going to Valley. Right when I got to Valley, I got a mentor, Dr. Samuel Osunday, in the speech communications department. He took me under his wing, had me set up to basically graduate in 3 years, go to Akron, Ohio, because he had a partner in the speech department there. I was going to do 2 years of speech pathology and be a speech pathologist, in 5 years. But before that, backing up, I wanted to go to USM. I wanted to go down to Hattiesburg, man, and just kick it down there on the coast. But yeah, I just ended up, going to Valley just to stay close to the crib. Stayed on campus one semester and was driving home every day just because,
Right.
I'm
Right.
on campus kicking it, and I'll call home and hear my mama
Yeah.
sad and arguing in the background. I'm like, man, I can't
Gotta
even.
go home. gotta go
can't even
home.
enjoy my college experience. You know what I'm saying? I went to the crib.
Right. Yeah, got the crazy thing about you say that we gonna move to the next thing, man. But it seemed like everybody I wanted to go to Southern Miss. Like Southern Miss was like that, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, dang, if it was like if it wasn't Valley or nothing like that, like it was like Southern Miss, like USM or whatever. But
Yep.
yeah, so we gonna touch in for one of your books, man. It's called Let's Talk About Love. But first off, what made you want to write a book?
You know what, man? Honestly, the main thing that made me write the books was it's just like they say, or like the name of your show, game sessions. They say the
Mhm.
game is to be sold, not to be told, right? We
Definitely,
learned that growing up. And
definitely.
so when I wrote the first book, because I wrote Escape from Poverty first, right? So after my
Mhm.
dad died, and to put some respect on my pop's name, like we passed up our relationship, towards the latter parts of his life because he found God, and we on the phone politicking every day for 2 hours at a time. You know what I'm saying? And he passed away in 2014, but I got a chance to ask all the questions I wanted to ask, you know what I'm saying, and just patch up our relationship as a man, like on some manhood shit. We really connected. And when he died in 2014, he died January 21st, 2014. And when he passed away, I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn, all that information gone. You know what I'm saying? I can't ask no more questions. I can't get no more perspective. I don't know how he felt about this because me and him would get on the phone, man. We talking politics, religion, history. I mean, all kind of shit. It wasn't no topic that we didn't touch on, right?
Right.
And when he died, it just left me like, man, when I do leave this earth, I want to have some information still out there to where my kids can connect with what was in my mind, or they can get the blueprint straight from me. So that's what made me write the books. The other piece to that, so one piece is the information, right? To be able to leave that information behind for the generations to come. The other piece is if everything blew up today, right? If all the industry shut down, if there's no more jobs out there, or I put it like this, when I turn 75, 85, I don't have to go be a Walmart greeter. I got
Right.
I got two books that I can teach from, that I can sell at $20 a pop. I can go stand on the block over here and still make some money. So if
Right.
all this shit dry up, if the economy dry up, which we see how that happens, how it's shaky and up and down,
Hmm.
it's another stream of income to where I can always go make me some money. So that's the
Definitely.
piece. Really, that's really the reason behind
Okay. Well, you thought it out. You definitely
it.
thought it out.
Vision. You gotta have vision.
Got to, man. But for you to think it out like that, you know, from the passing of your father and just realizing like, you know what I'm saying, like what can I leave so called, I guess you could say generational wealth in a sense.
Facts.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? What can I leave my kids to remember me by? And
Facts.
so and you did that with both your books. So like I said, with the Let's Talk About Love, and your last name being Love. You know what I'm saying? Um, I have a question. Do you think love or being in love matters in making a relationship last these days?
Mm. And look, let me go back too. So do I think being in love or in a relationship matters these days? So I'm gonna answer the question, but I do want to go back and give some insight on how that book came about.
Okay.
Because the second book, when I wrote the second book a year later, I wrote a book because I knew how to write a book, right? Because I self-published the first one myself. So I knew all the things that went into writing a book, and doing everything myself, getting my own editor, creating the everything, right? So
Mhm.
because I knew the formula and had a formula, I wrote another one. So the second one came about because I was doing a relationship blog. I was a writer for this site called Real Black Love. So it was a relationship movement, and this brother started that thing, man. It blew up. It went viral. He ended up getting a TV show on Bravo. Shout out to my brother Joseph Dixon. But me and a whole bunch of brothers would do panel discussions, kind of like what you see happening now. The Peep
Yeah.
Network, all this stuff they
Hmm.
doing. We started doing that shit years ago, bro. Like 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and it was going viral. We getting hits, and I'm writing articles on relationships for his relationship site.
Hmm.
At the same time, I had a little relationship blog and had a relationship group. So what I did is I took a lot of my articles that I had put onto his relationship site on realblacklove.com, and I edited a lot of them, changed some, added a few, but I turned them into chapters and I put them in the book because I said, you know what, if anybody else gonna benefit off, this knowledge or my perspective, it's gonna be me. And at the same time, this is something that my kids and my daughter can read and say, okay, this is how I focus on self-love. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
No.
that's how that came about. But the question, can you ask the question again? Because I want to answer your question about
Okay.
relationship.
Okay. So I was like, do you think love or being in love matters in making a relationship last like nowadays? And the reason I asked that because nowadays it's just like people just going together, like they just being in relationships because some just lonely or ain't been in a relationship for a long period of time, and they just like I'm just gonna be with this person. You know what I'm saying? Then this thing,
Yeah.
2-3 months later, it ain't together. So that's why I was asked. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, I think being in love is important. Um, I think being in a relationship, I don't know. That's a tough one, man. Like, because you can fall in and out of love. Like when you're
Right.
together with somebody for a long time, and I haven't experienced this. Like I've been in love the whole time. Shout
Right.
out to my wife.
Right.
But
Right.
we've been together 17 years, man, and 17 years and being married, for 10. Um, you have moments where you might not like that other person. And again, I can't really say that that's our situation, but
Right. Right. No, you just speaking your
the people
perspective.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just giving perspective. But the people that I speak to, the people that I coach, I sit at the feet of a lot of elders, a lot of OGs. I got a lot of people like that in my corner, in my circle, people that have been married, for a long, long time. And you fall in and out of love, man. And sometimes you don't like that person, or sometimes you're going through your own personal stuff. And sometimes, you may not be feeling sexy because maybe there's a weight influx that didn't happen, or maybe this is going on, but physically, it's all these different factors that come into it. So I think right now there's a rush for people to be in relationships, and I think sometimes that can cause people to miss out on certain red flags, miss out on certain or not set certain boundaries that you normally would set, because at this point you're just desperate, you're just thirsty, you're
Right.
just ready for anything that comes.
Anything.
You've been praying, God, just send him my way. So I think that relationships are important, but the being in love piece, you know,
It's
it's
just
important.
right.
That's all I can say on that,
So
really,
so
man.
so so I'm gonna say you to be in a relationship to care, you don't technically have to be in love, but you gotta have love for that person though. You know what I'm saying? Or have a strong like ever for instance. Because of course you're building. You start off as friends and you're building and you hopefully
Supposed to,
hoping supposed to. You're supposed to start off as friends and build, and then whatever happens happens. But and I just asked that question, man, because I said like nowadays it seems like it's just a whole bunch of single people, and it's just you got people they just are around different people, and it's not. I mean, I know it's different from when we grew up.
right?
You know what I
Whole
mean?
different ball game.
Yeah, and
Totally
so
different.
like so you're a rare commodity because you said you've been married for 17 years or been with
I've
your
been
wife.
with my wife for 17. Yeah, I've been with her for 17, but married for 10. And I think part of it is this, bro. Like, I think relationships are important in this sense because the way this economy is set up, the way America's designed, the way that hamster wheel keeps us all on it, turning and burning, two incomes are better than one. It's set up for a two people, or two parent or two person household.
Right.
Like you could do all this shit by yourself if you want to, but if you're trying to, what I'm saying, have two nice cars in the garage, home ownership, taking trips, vacationing, put a little something in the savings, go buy you some, whatever you want, being able to spend how you want, live how you want. It takes two. Like you can do that, but you pressing it to the limit. Now, some people, and the reason I said, reason it's kind of hard to answer that question is because some people want that aspect of it, right? The financial security, the safety net, and they want to be able to build. So you'll sacrifice being in love. You're like, you know what? He kind of ugly, you know what I'm saying? Or she kind of not my type. However, she make 150,000 a year, or he make,
That
this
bread.
right. He do that
Yeah.
right there. So it's like I'm a sacrifice. I'm a bite that bullet to be in this relationship. And even if you think about, like, you look at what Shaq's wife just said, it was just circulated in the social media a couple of
Yeah.
days ago when she said she don't think she was ever really in love with him. However, y'all married, y'all had all these kids, you built this lifestyle, you built this life, and
Man.
regardless of what happened with their relationship, I mean, I
Right.
don't get into
Right.
all that stuff, but to hear
Right.
her say, like, I was never really in love with him. So that's my point. Like, some people do it for the security of it. The in love piece, if you actually in love, that's a commodity, and that's the rare thing. Because I'm gonna tell you,
Right.
man, like with my wife, in our relationship, I picked somebody that, or I'll say it like this: going into the relationship, and when I first met this woman, I picture her and envision her with gray hair. I envision her with, what I'm saying, just the as the years go on, I said, damn, this woman naturally beautiful. She naturally beautiful. She don't need no makeup. She don't need no weave or no this right here. And if she do that, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
that's fine. But yeah.
natural beauty, and I'm, again, I'm not judging nobody, but
Right. Right. Right.
natural beauty, for me, natural beauty is important. So I saw this woman getting old in her older years as a visionary and said, damn,
Yeah.
she gonna still be all right at 75, even when I'm broke down and wrinkled up and shriveled up. So I picked based on
Yeah.
that, you know what I'm saying? And I picked based on, this is somebody that I can be myself around. Because a lot of the relationships I had prior to that, I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Like, I couldn't just completely be myself. Like, I
Yeah.
may want to, roll something up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or do that right here, or drink me a beer, go to the
Yeah.
bar, or this right here. I found one that I can do all that stuff with. Go to games and sports, or she like fashion, she like music. So that's the important piece, is finding somebody you can be yourself around that does not change or compromise who you truly are, and that takes you and love you for you, all your imperfections. Because there's always somebody more handsome, with more muscles, with more money. But
Yeah.
I found one that said, I like him in his natural state and just for who he is and just for what he
Yeah.
brings to the table. So that's where I'm
Now,
at with it.
now you hit the head nail on the head, because I'm like that too. Like, growing up, I seen my mom, I seen my aunties, I seen my cousins, and they didn't wear the makeup and they didn't have the weave and stuff like that. My mom still don't. She only way she wear makeup, it was she was running for tax collector, and she ain't feel comfortable with that. But I'm so used to seeing natural beauty, to whereas I don't care if my woman wear makeup, and I want to know who I'm gonna wake up to, not who I'm gonna see later on at 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? You
That
going out
part.
to the club. Like,
That
if I
part.
can wake up to you and be like, damn, she look good, then I'm straight. You know what
Look,
I'm saying?
breath stinking in the morning,
Man, I'm
yawning.
talking about,
I'm
yeah,
still ready to kiss you in the mouth. Come on,
man.
love you.
Now go
Yeah,
brush your teeth. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
don't go
but
to sleep after that, man.
yeah, but
But
that, but
no, you're right.
I totally agree with you on that. I'm gonna ask you one thing too. Since we're touching on the marriage, and I know you were saying that um two incomes is of course better than one. But
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you on that part. Do you feel like, and I was asking my cousin this, because they was married, or they are married, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, if you're in a relationship or married, and you're still, I say, financially struggling in a sense, is it bad management of money, or is it like, what could it be? And I say it, and I'm gonna put it like this, like, okay, say for instance, okay, I'm doing pretty well now. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I'm by myself, I'm single. So if I get a
Yeah.
woman and bring her in, we should do great together,
Right.
I think,
Right.
or better.
Right.
So, but we shouldn't struggle as if I was alone.
Right.
So I'm asking, like, why do you feel, or why do you think some still struggle when they are married? You think they're trying to live beyond their means, or you think just management of money? Like, what you think that could be?
Well, I mean, different strokes, different folks. But when you
Yeah,
think about us, right, as African Americans, as Black folks, we typically do everything you said, right? We live beyond our means, and spend money we ain't got. We rob Peter to pay Paul. But I'm old school, man. I feel like if we're not where we need to be as a man, it's my job to go get it. Right? Like I've been in positions to where, I'm working and making, $80,000, and God has blessed me to where I'm well above that now. But I've been making, $75,000, $80,000, and I'm finna still go bartend over here. I'm finna still go slang books at events. I'm finna still go over here and do banquet serving, because my thing is, and this is where my first book, Escape from Poverty, comes from. We're all, if you don't come from wealth, like I'm talking about wealth, like your mom, your granddaddy name on the building somewhere, Malus or
Goldberg.
Goldberg,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Old Jewish money. Like if you don't
yeah.
come from generational wealth, you one lawsuit, one medical bill, one job loss, one accident, you one little thing away from being broke, from poverty, really. So this is why your name got to be good, your brand got to be good, right? Your work ethic got to be good, your resume got to be tight, and all these different things. So I really think it's on the man. Just this is my perspective. I'm gonna go get it, right? So whatever she's bringing to the table, and God, thank God for my wife, man, because my wife is a pretty good earner. You know what I'm saying? College degree and all that good stuff. She's in banking. We live in the number 2 banking city in the nation. Might be number 1 now in Charlotte, but she's in banking. At one of the largest banks. So she has a nice little contribution, what I'm saying, to the household. But you could take that, in my mind, this how I do it. You take that, save our money, make sure we got XYZ going towards savings, and make sure we got XYZ going towards that. Make sure all the little bills and this and that get taken care of. But as far as the mortgage, the cars, the this right here, the credit cards, if we taking a major vacation, all that's coming from me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And give and take.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah.
it's varied over the years, but that's something that I'm going to make sure, if we have a certain lifestyle, if we establish that this is how we're going to live, I'm going to maintain that. And if we got certain goals that we've established or certain things that we long-term planning for, I'm going to make sure we're going to do that. Now,
Right.
whatever my wife brings into the table, that's all good and that's all great. But it's ultimately me that has to make sure that this ship stays afloat and is going to navigate, a certain way. And really it's her, what I'm saying? It's my wife. Because her being in banking and her being just knowing financially how money works, how credit works, how this works, I'm just finna, hey, here go the money, do what we got to do. I
Yeah,
know
and
I trust
you got to account. You got to account at the house.
yeah, it's exactly, bro. And so you know each other's skill sets and you know each other's strong suits, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want her to work like me. I don't want her to go out there and have to do all that. But I
Yeah,
got a hustler. She will. I know she
yeah,
will.
yeah.
That's how I
But
look at
but
that.
but the thing, and this is what I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the knowledge of you knowing that she will boost you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're knowing that you have a backbone and somebody that's got your back.
Right.
It makes you feel like, yeah, I'll go spend all that. Yeah, I'll go do that because I know if I'm ever down,
Your wife
I
got
know
your
she
back.
can, I know she
She
got
got
my
it.
back. I'm saying, but
Hmm.
She got
that's
it.
a comfort zone that you're in, and that you feel like, you know
That's
what I'm saying?
security.
Yeah,
That's security,
security.
man. Straight up. And I run out of money all the time, man, because my wife know I'm old school and I come from Mississippi, so I keep cash on me. You know what I'm saying? I keep that thing on me too now.
Yeah,
I'm
got to.
carry concealed. I'm carry concealed, so I'm
Yeah.
legal, but I keep that thing on me. But
Yeah.
I typically, not all the time, not as much
Right,
now.
right, right.
But I run out of money. Shoot, my wife sent me something. Look, what you need? What you need? Look, but everything paid. I ain't
Yeah,
running out of money unless everything paid. And then you never really run out of money. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
you got
yeah,
savings
yeah.
and this and that. But
That's
yeah,
mom.
man.
That's mama broke. You know, you ask your mom, I'm broke. She ain't really broke.
She
She
finna
just
go in
can't
there and
give
say,
you
look, mama gonna do like this. Pull out some wet money. Pull up about
uh,
you know what I'm saying? Give you a wet $5
Out the
bill.
bra.
oh
Look, out the
yeah,
bro, been in the stash.
man,
Mama
come
ain't
on,
never broke.
a
Lift that
solid
mattress up.
man, 5 ones and a 10, and just say,
Look,
go
and
do
a
what you gonna
10.
do. Yeah, I
Yes,
heard
sir.
that.
But no,
Um,
I got a good one, man, and we work well. Like, but I think with the money part, it's to each his own, man. Because like we can all say this works and that works, and you
mhm.
know, until I start really making some money, like, bro, like I thought six figures was, I
Something.
thought that was it. I thought that was money. You know what I'm saying? I
Man,
thought, but
what?
once they say, okay, you made six, but these are taxes you got to pay,
Right.
and then you got to do this right here and that right there. So
Just
once you in these brackets, man,
It's a
it's
different
real.
ball
It's
game.
more. It's
Yes.
not
man,
enough,
I'm like you. I thought 100. I thought 100 making a hundred
bro.
thousand a year. I made like 90 something last year. I ain't got nothing to show for it. Then went by so
Man.
fast. Like I'm like, dang.
Because the
I'm looking at my
government
check.
took 40%.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
they
looking at my
got
check
there.
stub at the end of the year. I'm like, I made 95. How I ain't. And it's man.
And this what I talk about, like, and this what I talk about in a lot of my men motivational groups. This is what I talked about in Escape from Poverty. Like, because when you look at the median household income, right? I
Mm,
shared those statistics,
yeah.
9 years ago or it was 10 years when I first wrote the book.
Mm,
But when you look at the median household income now, like based on the U.S. Census Bureau, and I know this
mm,
shit off the top of my head because I talk about it so much, but when you look at the other people, Asian and Indian, 100 plus, Caucasian, 85 plus, Hispanic, 60 plus, us, 51,
What?
51 and under. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Median
wow.
household income for black families. So, I mean, you do the math. A lot of times that's a single parent family. So that's a woman with probably 2 degrees
mm,
or bachelor's or, whatever it is that's making that by herself. Or that's two people in the household with kids that's making that 51, right?
yeah.
And when you think about it, me and my wife, we well over that, you know what I'm saying? But it's still not enough. If you want to, I'm not gonna say it's not enough because I don't want to sound like,
No, no, you good.
you know
Yeah, I
what I
feel
mean?
what you're
But
saying.
but but for the things that the traditions, the vacations and the school stuff. If you want to put your kids in extracurricular, this karate, this right there, coding,
Yeah.
that shit, all that shit costs money. And
It does.
if you want to eat more than processed food, you know what I'm saying? If you want to eat more than fish sticks. We grew up on fish sticks and chicken
Man,
nuggets and
what?
Right.
bag potato and a box of rice, and we
Man,
good.
what?
But
That's it.
now I'm like, okay, shit, we go out to eat. You go out to eat with a family, especially if you go fine dining. If you go fine dining with a family, you finna pay a car note.
Yep.
Damn near.
A car
You
note.
go get some seafood. It's a wrap for you.
It's a
Hmm.
it's a wrap.
Yeah,
Shit, you gonna sacrifice something. But
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I'm not trying to sound like,
We get where you're coming from. We understand what you're
No,
saying.
no, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah, we got you, man. Like it ain't easy, but you got to put in the work. I've noticed, and just growing up and getting older, and this is why I try to tell my little brother. I say you work hard when you're young, so when you're older, you don't
Older.
have to work as hard.
that's a
You
Yeah.
fact.
know what I'm saying? It's like doctors. Like doctors, man, they grind doing the practices and all that stuff what they do. And man, once they get to where they at, man, you go in there, they tell you to cough and take the temperature and give you a Tylenol, and you get your bill and it's $3,000. You know what I'm saying? You be like, God damn, I ain't staying
Yep.
up
Gotta pay them.
10 minutes. You
You
know what
gotta
I'm
pay them
saying?
for their time.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just tell them, man, you work hard, you grind while you young. So when you get older, sometimes you can just sit back and chill. You know what I
And
mean?
that's what I was talking about earlier, like with when you asked me what's the main reason I wrote the books, it's so I don't have to work as hard when I am older, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to think about it, man. When you think about the workforce in corporate America, because like one of the things that I did several years ago is I transitioned into IT. So even though I have a company, even though I got the books, even though uh, you know I do other stuff on the side, but I'm a IT division manager, right? So I got 15 locations in the Northeast. So Boston, New Jersey, New York, DC, Maryland, Virginia. So I got 15 locations that I oversee from an IT support standpoint. So 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, I started getting certifications You know what I'm saying? Started working for, a large company, billion-dollar company.
Mhm.
And, it forced me to really project and look at long-term what's going to happen and how industries are shaping up. IT, when you think about it, you walk into Walmart or the grocery store, you would have had people checking out in every line. Well, now you got 10 self-checkout. You got one person managing all them 10 self-checkouts. You got
Man,
that's taking over certain jobs in customer service, answering the phone, admin work. So for me, projected long term, I had to say, okay, what industry is it? It's not going to dry up, right?
yeah,
Tech,
yeah,
tech finna take over. So I
yeah.
transitioned into tech 5 years ago, bro, and worked my way up in tech to where,
Yeah, everything taking over. It finna be some robots delivering your food and everything, man.
bro, it's happening now. Amazon
Yeah.
got the little thing that dropped the stuff out. They dropped the shit out right on your porch with a drone. And then you
Oh,
got what is it? I went to Bojangles. Yeah, they
yeah.
don't have Bojangles down there, but they got the
We have a
they,
Bojangles.
They got one here in Memphis.
they got one in Memphis. Okay, good. I didn't know that. So yeah, so I went to Bojangles the other day, man. Went through the drive-through. The whole drive-through conversation was with a computer. I ain't even know my order was right. Like, 'cause they ain't at the end. I'm waiting on motherfucker to say, sir, so you got this, and this. That's gonna be $10 in this right here. It ain't
Yeah.
even tell me the total. It just took out my order. Thank you. Drive forward. So I drove
Yeah.
forward. I'm looking at like, how
What
much
a
this shit
lady.
cost? Like how much it costs, and what do y'all got my stuff right?
Yeah.
The girl in the window. That's when I saw a human. She read my receipt. She said,
He said Saul Herman.
"You got this." She gave me my receipt, and
Yeah.
I paid her. But the the,
Yeah.
the, the computer took my order.
Yeah. I mean, they got the little kiosks and stuff now, and
Facts.
then you just it be workers back there cooking, and ain't nobody at the desk. You know what I'm saying? Order your food right there, and
Yep.
bring me your ticket. And they just
Computer
give them the
flipping
tip.
burgers now. Computer like this,
Man, yep, that's
dropping that
it.
shit in the fryer.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy,
That's where
man.
we at.
Man,
So I
that's
had to
wild.
get in IT, man, and I encourage anybody listening to this. If you ain't doing nothing with tech, if you've never took a class, a course, that's where you start. Get you some IT stuff out the way, man, because that all this shit finna dry up.
Yeah, it's
Like,
gonna take
for
over.
real.
Yeah. Um. So touching on your you said escape from poverty, 28 ways to win at life. So of course, I mean, like you said, we come from Greenwood. I mean, we little or nothing. You had a little, mom, and they made ways for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, coming up and not knowing the struggles that they went through, but they made it look like it was a piece of cake. You know what I'm
Mm,
Mhm.
saying?
mm.
Getting, growing up or whatever. But with that book, man, Escaping from Poverty, could you touch in just like how you came up and like from Greenwood and just kind of elevated yourself to kind of where you at right now?
Yeah. And honestly, man, like I think that, and one thing I will say, like I don't feel like I'm better than nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I put my pants on one leg at a time.
Mm,
Ain't no billions behind my name,
right,
not yet. And shit, even when you do get billions, they can take it from you. Look at
man,
the whole Diddy situation. But
man. What?
that's a whole nother
Yeah,
subject. Me,
yeah.
look, I know you look, we can get into that too.
We
But
want to talk about it though.
look, and that's what's happening right now. That's where everybody
Yeah,
talking about right now.
yeah,
But
right.
for escape from poverty, honestly, bruh, it's like this. Everything when we think about our OGs, this is one of the problems right now. Our OGs don't talk to us no more. They're not teaching us because they're competing with us.
Preach.
These people trying to get the same jobs, trying to get the same women that you trying to get or have been, right? That's been the case. So
Yeah.
our OGs stopped teaching us, and I realized that. So I'm like, damn, I got to be a young OG. Like I started early and saying,
Mhm.
look, I'm gonna go and plant certain seeds and start spitting certain knowledge and spitting certain positivity, how I do on social media, right? So it's really putting out that information that I wish somebody would have told me. Like how
Right.
they say,
Yeah.
if I had a big brother, or if I knew what I know now, like they say, hindsight 2020. If I
Mhm.
knew what I know now, looking back, it's a lot clearer. So with escape from poverty, what I did is I took everything that I had learned and packaged it in a book, right? So I started with, so really what Escape from Poverty is, it's a 28-day personal development program. So I want you to read one chapter a day. You know how most books, you read it and you binge read, you'll read the whole book in 2 days. Or you go on vacation or you go on the plane, you read the whole book on the plane. Well, with Escape from Poverty, I have it broken down to where I want you to read one chapter a day for 28 days because I want you to read, process, and then apply. So at the beginning of each chapter, I have an original quote. So I have a quote that I created. I have the chapter itself, and then I have a chess move. Because in the introduction, I compare life to the game of chess.
Yeah, me too.
Right. And so how your next move got to be your best move. So that chess move is the one thing I want you to focus on after reading that chapter. So you taking that all in, and now you're reading chapter 2. So to give you an example, chapter 1, and I started from the inside out. So I want this book to be personal development from the inside out. So what I mean by that is the first chapter is keep God first. So whether you're religious or spiritual. Now me, I'm spiritual, right? I believe in religion. However, I studied all of them. You know what I'm saying? From Hinduism, Buddhism.
Not voodoo.
I studied voodoo too. Because in college I took a religious study class to where I had to study voodoo and voodoo, right?
Yes.
Santeria. So I learned about all that. So when you think about it, it made me a spiritual person. But the first chapter is keep God first. Second chapter is I love me some me. The third chapter is faith. Is about faith, right? So I'm working on you inside. So now when I get to about that 14th chapter, that's when I start talking about spread love, spread positivity, outwork the competition. So now I'm talking about your external relationship. So I've already worked with you the first 14 days. Now the rest of it, you finna start interacting with the public and the people and people externally. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So you basically working on yourself inside so you can,
Yep. And at the end of it, you know, I get into that's where I kind of make a transition into the relationships and into the workforce. So I go from you, yourself, your mental state. So that's where the mindset piece come in at. Changing your mindset, changing your habits, you know, reprogramming your mind. I start there and I work all the way out to external.
Okay. V, you got a question or anything?
Well, I am going to send you a friend request because I just made a post the other day, and you know, I was saying that it's time for me to tell my story, and I want to get like the outs and ins to writing a book. So I'm going to get with you on that, and also probably get some life coaching too. Yeah, I've enjoyed this today, and everything has been very informational, and you know, I just thank you, Quez, for bringing me on today. I'm gonna check with Fabian and see about getting some IT classes. So
Fabian,
that's my brother. Look,
he on here coming now.
look, I can't see it no more, man. I was on there looking at it, but Fabian was commenting, talking about I kicked him out the relationship group. Man, I told Fabian, I said, and me and him talk, you know, that's my brother. Like,
Fabian,
man, like we friends for real, brothers for real. And he was on there, man. I told Fabian, I said, man, I got these church folks in here, and you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep the shit PG.
Fabian care nothing about that.
Oh, he ain't care nothing about it, man. We talking about 7, 8 years ago. I had to kick him out. Look, and that's the thing, Trez. Look, when it come to business, bro, your friends and your family and all that, you got to treat them the same way. You got to rule with that same, you know, measure. Shit, I kicked Fabian ass out the group, man. Look, we called him, bro. Hey, man. But you know what? I shut the whole thing down because what happened was with them relationship groups, man, it take you into areas that you don't really want to go into sometimes, man. And people sharing their opinion and people trying to argue and people trying to be right. I don't care about being right. Like I'm finna give you I'm going to give you perspective and something that's going to increase you or move you forward. But I don't care about the, you know, the competition and the this and the that. And not saying that was Fabian. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about
not yet.
But it was taking me away. Like I'm trying to work. I got a 9 to 5. Like every 2 minutes, I'm bing, bing, bing. It's some shit going off in the group I got to respond to. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? This
Yeah,
too
yeah.
time consuming. And the other piece that made me shut it down was I thought about my relationship with my wife, and I said, you know what? Our shit ain't perfect. So I'm not finna sit on here every day and give advice or talk about this, that, and the other when I'm going through this over here. So
Right.
I said, look, let me shut this shit down and focus on home and
Focus
make
on,
sure I'm
yeah.
straight. So I had
Yeah.
to check some stuff and put some stuff back in balance right there at home. Or we,
Yeah.
like it's not like I, but
Yeah.
we put our stuff back in balance. And I said, you know what, baby? Forget everybody else. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make sure you straight. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Amen.
Good
Yeah.
reason I did too,
Yeah.
man. We saw an increase. We saw an
Yeah.
increase in several areas after that.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
Fabian said it was all him. He coming. He said it was all me. So that was just
Nah, man, I'm just teasing, bro. He look, he completely good, man. Like
yeah,
he can
yeah,
call. Look, that's my guy.
yeah, yeah. Fabian cool, man. That's like that family. So you life coaching, man. You in your life coaching, you touch in three key areas:
Yeah,
your mindset, your leadership, and your relationships. Do you do it mindset first, leadership and relationship, or you just piece it all together? How do you go by that?
really,
The
it's what people come to me for. I'm just really telling people like these are my specialty areas because I have experience here.
Mhm.
But I always say mindset comes first because we need to understand like what a lot of us have not done. So some of the things that I did early, like when I was probably 30 or in my late 20s, um, I went on a personal development journey and I started doing these personality assessments. I think I did Myers Briggs, I think I did the DISC assessment, and several other like personality tests. And I created my own. So I created my own called the High Woo personality test. And High Woo was my grandmother who passed away years ago. That was her nickname. Her
Okay.
name was Hattie Ruth Love, but we called her High Woo. So I started a company back then. That was my first company I started called
Mhm.
High Woo. But I created a High Woo personality assessment. And what these personality assessments do is they teach you what your personality style is. So whether you're a driver, whether you're analytical, whether you're amiable, expressive, and then I dove into learning styles, and then I dove into communication styles, right? So communication styles. Some people are visual learners. Some people are audible learners that can hear some and spit it back to you. Some people
Right.
are kinesthetic, right? And kinesthetic means I need you to walk me through it. I'm hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Show me one time and then I got it. So what
Mhm.
happened for me is I just dove into a lot of the personality assessments and things like that, and it brought me back to emotional intelligence. And what emotional intelligence is, or my definition for emotional intelligence is self-awareness plus social awareness. So self-awareness being understanding who I am. So that's the mindset piece.
Mhm.
How I think, what are my boundaries, what are my triggers, what are my quirks, what are the things that make me tick, what are the things that I like, that I enjoy, how do I learn, is it visual, is it audible, is it kinesthetic, and all these different things. So I had to take all of that into consideration. So with my clients, I start with mindset. So I start with a personality assessment. I start with different things that are going to help you. I have a life wheel, and the life wheel helps you prioritize what's most important to you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I have people rate relationships, life, adventure, money, all these different things. And I kind of tailor my program based on who you are. So when I look at those results from your personality assessment, when I look at those results from the life wheel, when I look at those results from a couple of my other assessments, I then tailor that coaching program to whoever that person is. So with certain people, we start with leadership because maybe you want to work on public speaking and
Right.
get better at public speaking. Maybe you want to work at advanced grammar, increase your vocabulary. Maybe you want to work on effective communication and start writing better, right? I'll bring out power words, effective email communication. So with me, one of the things I do in everyday life, and this goes to my leadership training,
Mhm.
when people ask me a question or if I'm just having a regular conversation, I use words like terrific,
Right.
absolutely,
Right.
excellent,
Yeah.
magnificent, right? How often do you hear, a brother in a
Man.
conversation say terrific?
Right.
You say
You
terrific,
ain't
they
hearing
look at you
it.
like
They-
he did,
yeah. Yo, educated mother.
yeah, he educated. I gotta handle him a little bit different. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? But so it depends on the person because I tailor that program to them. Relationships, that aspect of it is just a natural thing that came to me, but because I'm a fan of love. I love love. I love relationships. So I've studied it for a long, long time. But I get into relationships from a standpoint of social relationships. So networking, how to find your tribe, how to build your name in the community, right? So we cover it from that standpoint. But then we also cover relationships from an intimacy standpoint, romantic relationships, and that aspect, because that's twofold. So it
Right.
depends on the person.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Terrific.
See, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, V. Talking about what I'm talking about.
She look, she on it already, man.
You own it already, man. Like that, let you know what type of person you're dealing with.
Right.
Mhm.
Did you have any difficult situations that you ran across while being a life coach? Any
I mean,
situations
yeah,
like some
yeah,
people may tell you something, you just be like, well, I don't. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you have difficult situations. I face difficult situations a lot, man. I coach a lot of men. Like I try to, keep it open. A lot of the people who are willing and ready to be coached are women. Women gonna pay. A brother just gonna come to you and say, "Hey, man, look, I'm going through this," and in
right,
college, and But then I have some that I transition into clients, and but a lot of times is mentorship. But you do face difficulty, and with that, I treat it just like the medical profession, right? Like HIPAA. Like
mm,
I don't disclose anybody's situation, or
right,
I don't disclose anybody's information that they share. I keep it as a safe environment. But I have faced a lot of difficult situations. I had a lot of difficult conversations, and I've had people that I've had to refer to mental health professionals. So I got a black book. I got a nice black book because 2016 I started a group in Charlotte called the Black Charlotte Business Coalition.
right,
And it was one person in the group starting out. That was my wife. But now there's over 6,000 people, and that includes the current mayor of
man,
Charlotte, sheriff in Charlotte, a couple of city council people. I got carpenters, landscapers, painters, preachers, you name it, graphic designers. So I have a
yeah,
database of people, of professionals that I can always dip into. So when I do face those difficult situations, to answer your question,
mm,
I refer them to a counselor, a therapist, because that's one of the things that I have to make sure that I disclaim as a
mm,
life coach. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a
right,
counselor
right,
because sometimes you go into mental illness, medical diagnosis, prescriptions, and things like that. And that's not something that I deal with. I take regular people like you and I, or people who just want an unbiased opinion and perspective or a program to help them move forward. And that's
mm,
what a coach does. They help you move forward. They meet you where you are in a non-judgmental, non-biased way, an approach, and they help you move forward and develop a plan. And that's what I do.
Put me
oh,
in, coach.
Let's go.
right,
Let go.
yeah. Got a few more questions, and then
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm having fun, man. I'm about to go get me another glass of wine, but I'm trying. Look, I'm gonna slow down. I'm on that.
oh,
I'm on that.
you speaking V language about that wine now?
You
Yeah,
know?
man. Look, when you're doing something like this, like I ain't want to pop no beer or drink no Henny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I brought out the Cabernet Sauvignon. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay,
knew this
then.
was,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
grown folk conversation.
yeah. She get her wine when we have our little the podcast. She got a wine time. She got a lemon wine time when she get her wine out. So yeah,
That's
she
what
be
you
on that
do, V.
wine
And V,
too, man.
look, I got some spots for you, V. I got a few little recommendations, man. I know some wineries and some man. I got some spots for you.
Okay, okay. You need to have a spot for me with that mentoring program and this book that we finna get published.
Absolutely. And look, I'm gonna give you a tip. This is what I'm gonna say about your book. So, I've done how to write a book workshops. In fact, on my YouTube channel, that's the only video I got up. I've been slacking, but the only video I have up right now is how to write a book. So I'm gonna send you the link for my YouTube channel. But one thing I will say that kind of helped me is start writing your chapters. Like even if you don't have your title yet, start writing your chapters. Do you use Google Docs, Google
I
Drive?
I do.
So if you got Google Drive, so this is one of the tips that I give people in my workshops is go ahead and just start writing the chapter titles, right? Even if it's
Mhm.
nothing in it, just name them. So if you know what your chapter titles are going to be or certain topics that you want to talk about. So for example, when I wrote Escape from Poverty, I wrote those 28 titles as Google Drives as just headers with nothing in
Mhm.
it. So what would happen is as I watched TV, as I browsed the internet, as I read certain books, experienced certain things, I would get inspired on certain topics. So then I would go and look at my list of all those titles in my Google Drive, and the one that I was inspired on, I'll go in there, write one sentence, or maybe it was a paragraph, or maybe it was sharing a quote that's going to get
Wow.
me talking about that topic, right? And I just
Mhm.
left it alone, went back to it. And the thing about Google Drive is you can access that wherever you're at. So wherever you got
Yeah.
access to your email, your phone, your desktop, wherever, you can go in, drop that note in there. So the reason I say that is that gives you the structure. And then after you get all the title, like after you get done and you've taken enough time to write and put content in all those different little chapters,
Mhm.
just like an artist, just like a music artist, you organize the flow of how you want to take your audience from song 1 to song 2, song 3, in this sense, chapter 4, right? And you
Yeah.
build them up and take them to the middle of the book, and then you figure out how you're going to ride it on out. And you see what I'm saying? The flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
I
one
got
tip.
you.
Start just writing the chapters as a
Okay.
shell. And whatever you're inspired on, you go. And sometimes I would inspire myself, right? So if I know it's one chapter, Activate Faith, that has nothing in it, I ain't wrote in there in 2 months. So I would go and get inspired just on that. So I'm going to go watch videos, read books, everything I can touch on faith. And then I'll come in here and the pen will just flow or I'll start typing.
Yeah.
The shell that you're going by.
Okay. Okay. This should be interesting.
Yep. I got
Okay.
you though. I got you. I'll make sure we connect on that.
Okay.
Um, I got a question too. You were saying about how the men when they go, the women are more reluctant to or more prone to ask you, you know what I'm saying, and then the men be like, nah, let me just holler at you for a minute. So with men showing emotion, like I know we grew up, you know what I mean, like be tough, be
Right.
strong,
Right.
don't let nothing get to you, and
Right.
this, and then we grow up and things be bottled in,
Yeah.
and we have so much stuff built in. How would you recommend a man to kind of release? Because some men, me at one point, where you don't really, like if you in a relationship and stuff, you don't really talk to your
Right.
spouse about that because, or name your spouse just a girlfriend or whatever, because you don't want to be like Shaq was saying. Shaq was like, don't say don't tell them everything because they'll use it against you, and that be in our head sometimes.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So what would you recommend? How a man should handle his emotions? You know what I'm saying? With dealing with I mean with anything really.
Yeah. Honestly, man, like you got to talk to somebody. Like for us, we think that therapy or coaching or counseling means something wrong with you, you know.
Right.
But you got to find if you don't talk to nobody, you find your tribe to where you can talk. And that's one of the things I do with my men's motivational group. I call it Iron Sharpens Iron, but Iron Sharpens Iron. I created it to create a healthy support system for men. Because one of the things that's happened is over the years, men have become disconnected from each other. We've become disconnected from our women. We've become disconnected from our children in some cases. We've become disconnected from our communities. And women, you see them connecting up and boss chick brunches and doing this right here,
Yeah.
that right there, mimosa. Like they do this, right?
Yeah.
And they are good about that. However, men, going back to what you just said, how we grew up, don't show no emotion. That's a sign of weakness. You better not cry if you hit
Man,
that ground. Or if it ain't bleeding, it ain't broke.
it
So a
ain't
lot of
broke.
us won't go to the doctor. You see what I'm saying? So Oh,
Scared of the doctor.
yeah, the doctor,
Shit.
because he gonna tell you gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna die at some point, but he gonna say, "Shit, you gonna die tomorrow." You know, so you need to go ahead and stop eating this and start doing that. So a lot of us, man, we don't express ourselves for fear of repercussion or being looked at as weak. However, there's a way to express yourself and still do it in a manly way. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's one of the ways. This is one of the ways that even with social media, for example, I use social media a lot to edify my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna uplift her. You'll never see me get on social media and say, she ain't cooked nothing today. She getting on my motherfucking nerve. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna bash my wife. I'm not gonna get into an argument. I'm not gonna come on here and tell put no bull crap out there, bull crap energy out there that's gonna come back and haunt me later on. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think a part of it is just how we was raised. A lot of them um,
Mm-hmm.
broken homes. A lot of the poverty mindset. That's why I start with mindset because
Yes.
until we start thinking different, thinking about ourselves different, thinking about our community different, because it's like as a man, we taught to go get your paper and take care of you. I'm gonna get me. Forget them. Forget the community.
Yeah.
But I've learned as a man, you got to throw that rope back. So if I get the key and I know how to go over here and make 120,000, or if I know how to go over here and start businesses or do this right here and do that right there, you got to throw that rope back to help the community. Because if we don't, then everybody gonna perish. You see what
You're
I'm
right.
saying? But a lot of
Right.
us don't have that mindset, and we don't express ourselves. We don't share the knowledge. We don't share the wealth, and that's
Yeah.
what escape from poverty is, man. Because what's happened is this. And this is why I feel like when I turn on social media and we go online, you see men going against women all day long.
Man,
It's
what?
Mm-hmm.
fashion every day, all day long. You finna see men don't do this, women don't do that, single women this, single men that. You know what I'm saying? And part of it is the Willie Lynch syndrome. It goes back to
Mm-hmm.
right, us against them, young
Yeah.
against old, house
Yeah.
Nigga.
I ain't gonna say, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
house folks against field folks, light
Mhm.
skin against dark skin, straight hair against nappy hair, like, and men against women now. So this is one of the ways that we
It keeps
remain
us.
on the bottom. So going back to what
Mm-hmm.
I said earlier about the median household income, you got Asian and Indian up there over 100, Caucasians at 80 something. Hispanics at 60 something, us at 50 and below. And the reason why is because we the ones who fighting every day, all day. They going to
Yeah.
get married.
Yeah. Man, what you say?
They
We
getting
fighting every day
married.
on social media.
They turning that 100 into 200. They turning that 50 into 100. They turning that 75 into 150. We over here
Working together. Yeah.
Yeah.
arguing.
We mad at that damn pyramid because it don't work. We don't want to stick together.
Come on, man. Like that's where you know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
more you do that, bro, like that's why honestly, man, I move a certain way because when I saw my parents stay together over 25 years in a toxic relationship and never get married, they were common law married. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so so when my pops died, my mom like, damn, I ain't getting nothing. You know what
You're
I'm saying?
right.
So my pops
Right.
had a life insurance policy. He broke me off, broke my sister off, my little brother off. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't no big policy. You know what I'm saying? But we still, everybody walked away with a little something to where they can do something with it. But my mom over here like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like what? But you married.
Yeah.
If you were married, if y'all had done it a certain way, you see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That would have went a certain way. And see, one of the
Right.
things I did, bro, I'm gonna tell you this last month. Last month, I went and put 600 on myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I got insurance through my job. I got
Mhm.
short-term disability and accidental death and dismemberment and all that.
Mhm.
But I went to one of my partners, you know what I'm saying, who own a life insurance company. Yo, what I got to do and blah 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 blah, and I had to take the physical and do the
Mhm.
medical stuff and do all that stuff like that. But this 600 is going to if I die today, if I go today, my wife can take that 600 and XYZ. And if
Yeah.
she go, my daughter can take that 600 and XYZ. And then you get that other stuff that I already had.
Yeah.
You
Right.
see what I'm
Right.
Yep.
saying?
Income replacement.
What say, V?
Income replacement.
Income replacement, but at the same time, she ain't got to get no GoFundMe.
Yes. Amen.
Or she ain't got to start calling the family saying, yo, or getting mad at folks because they didn't come to the funeral, or they didn't
Yeah.
put 200 on they ain't put 200 on the casket. This is the stuff that
I just recently went through that.
we got. You said what now?
I just recently went through that, but I just thank God that I was able to take
See
care of
what
it on
I'm
my
saying?
own.
No, everybody know this story too well. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So we got to start thinking different, man, and talking about relationships different. Even talking about death. What's your
Yeah.
Yep.
plan? If something
Yep.
happened to me today,
It needs
what's
to
your
be a
plan? Are we gonna
conversation.
still be straight?
Right. No, you're right about that. That's one
I
thing we
agree.
scared to talk about is that having that life, that insurance policy on you and all that stuff. So I mean, but it's always good to have, of course. You
Brother
want
don't want to take the physical. Look, he like shit. I gotta, I gotta stop smoking weed. I gotta. If I gonna take the physical, man, they gonna tell me I'm about to die next
yeah,
week.
we mess around and be like, I ain't got number one kidney. Like, yeah, nigga, one kidney, you gonna die. You know what I'm saying? We
It's
scared of
over.
everything, man. It's over with.
So that's why we keep quiet.
Man, what you said? Look, we getting to that age now. I got to get that prostate, man. We're scared to get that
That's
glove
right.
on, man.
You
It's
know what?
over.
For me, I have to do it, man, because that's how my dad passed. My dad died of prostate cancer. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And I'm 42. I'm 40. I'll be 42 next month.
I saw you
So
age my brother.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
look. That's what that great. That's that platinum. You see that
Yeah,
platinum?
yeah, yeah. I just hit 40, man. A little bit of something, man. Salt and pepper. I'm trying to
Hey,
be
that's
like I'm
called
trying to be like
wisdom.
Ron Isley, man. I'm trying to get the whole white like Ron Isley.
Is exactly. That's that wisdom. You earned that, bro.
Man, shit,
Amen.
man. I got one more thing. That's you and your wife, man. Y'all are advocates of sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
Um, could you touch on that a little bit? What made y'all end up in indulging in the sickle cell anemia foundation?
Yeah, man. And this goes back to one of the things that I advocate brothers to do is to find your tribe, right? If you're trying to build your name, you're trying to get your name out there and get in the community and make a difference. As baby say, put some respect on your name. You
Right,
know, you find your tribe, man, and you help people that otherwise can't advocate for themselves. So
hmm
whatever it is, whether it's cancer, whether it's autism, um, sickle cell, I encourage all of us to find our tribe, man, and volunteer your time. Because sometimes that's some of the best networking that you can do. Because they say it's all about the people that you know. So you go
hmm
out and you build these relationships with people that you have commonalities with. But for us, and the reason why we both got involved in it is my daughter has sickle cell. So
okay,
my one child has sickle cell, and people see me post online, all the time and stuff, but you never see me post, what we
right,
go through in some
right,
of those times, right? Because my daughter can be my daughter can be completely fine, and she can go down and be down for 2 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, however long until she feel better.
right,
And this is a disease that primarily affects Black people. So you don't see the notoriety, you don't see the research around it, you don't see the funding, you don't see the programs and things around sickle cell like you see some other things. But we've always been advocates since my daughter was born because we wanted to be on the front lines and we wanted her to grow up in
right,
that type of environment to where we're sitting in meetings and doing events and golf tournaments and all kind of stuff to where my daughter we go to doctor visits and I'm one of those fathers that I go to all the doctor visits. I go to the school, I show up at the school, they know me. And a lot of times us as men, we leave that to the woman, right?
right, right.
Mama gonna go to the school, talk to the counselors and the principals, or
Yeah,
mama gonna go to all the doctor visits and make sure they go to the dentist and make sure they do that. I'm there too, bro, because I
yeah,
want them to look at me and I don't want them to tell her no bullshit. I don't want them to look at my
Right.
wife, not handle her a certain way. Or I want my daughter to know and understand that my dad was there, my dad was present.
right,
So we've been on the front lines for the fight for sickle cell, man, so that my daughter is educated and that so that she's her own advocate. So now when I go to doctor visits or hematology visits, because they have to see hematologists quarterly,
hmm
uh, she advocates for herself. She can tell them what she's going through or how she feeling or
okay,
this, that, or and she knows terminology and the lingo. And when she does have hospital stays, she's talking to the nurses, and we sit back and we watch her because one of the things that we want her to do is to be able to live and to be able to survive even if we're not around. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because
Right.
this my only child. So
Right.
for us, we pour into her. We dedicate our time, man. We volunteer our time. And honestly, bro, that's how we get our blessings. Like I learned, man, if you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. So one of the reasons why I'm blessed, is because I pay it forward every chance I get. Now, if I ain't got it, I'm gonna tell you I ain't got it. Or if I ain't coming, I'm gonna tell you I ain't coming. So I ain't finna
Right.
let nobody bullshit me, or I ain't finna let nobody use me up. I've learned that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been burned with
Mhm.
that. If I can help anybody, I know helping them is helping myself. So that's important. Sickle cell is important.
Okay. Okay. V, you got any last words?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm full over
Okay.
here.
Well,
I like that.
Love, man, I appreciate you, man.
I
Getting
appreciate you,
on,
bro.
man, and the conversation, man, it was good, man. Like it's something that people can
It's
take and
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
they can take and they can cherish it and learn from it and be inspired from it and everything, man. So and it's stuff that people didn't know because once you left Greenwood, it was a wrap, man. You was gone, man. You know what I'm saying? North
Look,
Carolina. So
they see me on social media. But hey, keep doing what you're doing, V. Keep doing what you're doing, and make sure we connect. I know you finna turn that J Dollar on, cause that's my boy.
yeah,
Finna bump to that J Dollar, but bro, keep doing what you're doing, man, and it
appreciate
makes
you,
me.
man.
You're setting yourself
Appreciate you.
up. You're planting good seeds for the long run, bro.
Man, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
All right, bro.
Appreciate it, man. It's all
Appreciate
love, bro.
it. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. All right.